Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Deep Conversations Only. Today, we have with us an Ayurved enthusiast, a wellness coach, and a nutrition expert, and a very dear friend, Swati Singh Rajput. So, in today's episode, we are going to discuss her personal journey into Ayurved. I think when we met in Rishikesh for a yoga teacher training program, and Swati shared her journey into Ayurved and yoga, the first thought was that this is the journey which I want to share with people. And that's when I decided that whenever I'm starting my podcast, Swati is one of the first few guests that I want to bring on the show. And today we have her, and it will be a very enriching and full of knowledge. However, it is not going to overwhelm you, because I know personally that Swati helps people who are absolute beginner in Ayurveda, and yet there are amazing results. You can follow her on Instagram and see for yourself the kind of reviews that her students give to her 21 days boot camp, which is a fitness program that she runs, where she helps you to strategize lifestyle changes according to your personal needs. And I'm so happy to have you, Swati. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm so excited that my audience will get to hear your journey, and it is going to be so, so, so inspiring. And today we are going to delve into how her journey began and what are some of the things that she personally sticks to on a regular basis, and what are some of the things that she advises to people on her 21 days boot camp, where she helps people strategize lifestyle changes according to their personal needs. Swati, I would love for you to tell us that how did your journey into Ayurveda began. For I know that you were a BTech student, and from a BTech student to a wellness coach and an Ayurveda enthusiast, it's a huge transition. So, what made you so beautifully convinced about Ayurveda?
Okay. First of all, thanks for such a beautiful introduction. It was aligned so well, telling all the good things that I've done and excluding the bad things that I've done in the life. And coming about Ayurveda, just like it happened with you, you align with the science in a very beautiful way where today we are breathing because of it. I'm sure even you're breathing
Yeah.
because of it. The same thing happened with me. A disease called tuberculosis hit me at a very young age of 18. And I didn't know how to go about life. I would just be like any other teen, eating at any time, getting carried away with those fancy ads on the television and having that as my meal. But then tuberculosis happened to me, and I was having those medicines and everything. But then later I realized, there's simple things of Ayurveda that we need to incorporate in a life that will actually help us heal in a better way. And that's when, in a very unknowing way, in a very unintentional way, in a very different way, which I didn't know what was happening with me, and Ayurveda happened. So I didn't know Ayurveda was happening with me, and then
Yeah.
Ayurveda happened, and yeah, with time we later realized, oh, that was Ayurveda doing everything.
All
That's how
right.
it happened.
Yes, definitely. And similarly, my personal journey began with suffering. I was like, every doctor told me that there's no cure and you would have to settle with whatever that you have. And just a few days back, I had a call with my doctor, and he said that you are going to be off medications very soon. And I was
That's
like, oh
amazing.
God, that's so like I was actually waiting to hear all this while for my doctor to say that okay, now you can let go of your medications and you're perfectly fine. And my reports came, and my reports were actually normal. So normally when we get tested, there's a criteria which tells you that you're positive or negative, right? So my test, which was positive earlier, is now negative. So I was
That's
like,
amazing.
thank God for Ayurveda. I think Ayurveda is such a powerful
That's
science. And most of us feel that, I know for a fact that when I was growing up, and my grandmother would tell me that, these are few of the things that you have to follow. You don't have to eat this.
exactly.
Along with this, you don't have to eat banana with milk. And I used to get, this is such a pseudoscience.
Exactly.
Please stop telling me.
Banana
But
milkshake being the thing.
yeah, and now we repeat the same thing. Life has come full circle. So that is what I want
Right.
to ask you, that initially we all have certain doubts and inhibitions regarding Ayurveda. So how did you you know convince yourself and people around you that whatever that you're doing is right, and to bring about these lifestyle changes slowly and gradually?
So to me, it was first told by doctor. The irony is, I was told this by someone who practices modern science.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the importance of Ayurveda comes into the picture, because tuberculosis is a lung disease. And the minute it comes to lung, the first thing that comes in your mind is pranayama.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
pranayama first happened to me, and I very unintentionally was practicing pranayama. And through when yoga happens, Ayurveda was bound to happen, because along with
Yes,
yoga, Ayurveda is going to come. And we complicate Ayurveda by saying that, it's a big thing. We can't follow. It doesn't work in today's time. But Ayurveda starts from a simple step of the way you wake up to curing the maximum number of diseases that no science can cure, provided
absolutely.
when it is done the right way. And apart from that, when I approach my clients, I tell them, when you're sick, you can have a dolo without consulting a doctor, but you can't get up on time and follow a diet routine, a healthy routine for yourself. And then you blame Ayurveda. You're ready to have dolo, you're ready to have fruits. But what's the
Yes,
point? When are you having? How are you having? You know when to have a dolo. Before going to the bed, you need to have it and rest it. Only then you're going to get the maximum effects of it. But you don't know when to have a fruit. You mix it with your regular breakfast, you mix it with your meals, and you blame Ayurveda later for it. There are a lot
yes,
of complications. And one thing that I always tell my clients and myself, that's how it started with me, is, first it starts with understanding and communicating with your body. It doesn't happen in one day. So it starts off with, eating a food and observing how your digestion is going. So that's how you know whether this particular food or this particular grain is going to suit you or not. For example, hing. It's supposed to be known a very good digestive fire element that is going to help you in digestion. Whereas my mother-in-law is allergic to hing. So it's not universally right to just blindly follow whatever is written. Communicate with your body. You have a pinch of Ayurveda within you blessed. It's just about you going within you and connecting what is suiting, what is not suiting. You're so distracted by all the things around you that you don't listen to your body. That's a
yes.
basic thing that I tell my clients.
And I would always speak about this one thing, that make sure that whenever you are having food, you're alone at peace. At least one meal of your day should be with yourself. When you're constantly not bothered about, changing the channel, or, talking to someone, you are there present with your
There with the
food.
food.
Yes. And that made
Exactly.
such a
And
huge difference.
it does, it does. People are eating every random thing just to get healthy. For example, a healthy person also is following a lifestyle. They're compromising on ghee. They're not eating ghee because they think, it's not healthy. They
Yes.
are having only fruits. Yes, fruit is healthy, but then the way you have it again depends a lot. You're just munching everything together, and you're skipping your dinner thinking the next day you'll reduce weight. That's
Yes.
that's stupid. That it doesn't work that way.
And I personally, I've been on the receiving end for this, because that is what science has become. That the irony of science is that it keeps changing every day, and there's no comparison between modern science and Ayurveda. I think both are equally important in its own place. For example, if when I felt sick, it was important for me to have those steroids in order to get that instant relief. But at the same time, I could not just wait and depend on those for lifetime, right? And that is when I think Ayurveda came into picture, and realized that whatever that the internet tells you, or whatever even the modern science with respect to nutrition tells you is very nutritious. They said
Exactly.
something opposite 2 years back, and it just keeps changing
Exactly.
every
It
one
keeps
year,
changing with the
every.
market trends.
Yeah, and Ayurveda, I think that gives you that stabilization
Consistent.
that we need, and it is long term game for sure. It is not one of those things which will give you
Exactly.
instant gratification.
Consistent.
But I personally realized in my journey that with Ayurveda, I think it gave me short results. I wanted to lose weight since so many years, and I could not, because whatever that I was following wasn't substantial enough for me to follow it for a longer period of time. And I think that's what you preach in your 21 days boot camp as well, that lose weight the real way and not the real way. And I
Real way.
think
Yeah.
that is what has stuck by me, that Ayurveda has really given me that basic foundation of healthy living. And I think that is what
Exactly.
I want you to share with people, that so when you were diagnosed with tuberculosis, and some of the first few changes, what were they, and how did you incorporate them?
Okay. The first few changes that I made was with my eating habits, because as teen you end up eating at a very irregular timing. You give importance to a lot of other unnecessary thing in life, and you don't
Yes.
give importance to your eating habits. So that was a major thing that happened with me. And after that, I realized what am I eating is less important than when and how I'm eating. So
Absolutely.
I that when I say eating, that doesn't mean I wouldn't junk. Junking is right. You deserve junking because we're humans. We have these gratifications coming up in months where we need, calm ourselves down. But the way you junk and how you're junking is also very important. So the
Yes.
first change that I made was, when and how I'm eating.
Yes.
When the timings. The first thing that I again worked on was, the timings. Every day I ensured I'm having my lunch at this time, at a particular time. Until today, my lunch timing is the same. It's been 6 years, 7 years, and I'm still eating at the same time. So
Wow.
getting the meal map timing right was the first thing. And the second thing was obviously moving your body. There's no point working out for 1 hour in the day
Yes.
and resting all day at one place. I mean, it makes no sense. Rather, it's okay, you can skip your workout, but have an active body.
Active
Keep
life.
walking around. Exactly. Very active life, very active body. You need to ensure you're able to sit. If you're not able to stand and sit without the support, I mean, at the age of 18, what are you doing?
Yes.
That's how it is.
I
I mean, a lot of people I see, they're not able to stand and sit right. And they're all
yes.
healthy and fun. Yeah, there
Yes.
are many things. And after that, the next change I did was think positive, obviously. Ayurveda comes when you're eating good, when you're living a healthy life, you automatically start feeling good. You spread happiness around you, and disease just becomes a normal part of your life. Then
Yes.
don't give and pay all your attention to that one particular disease, is what I learned with Ayurveda. It's not just a science, it's the way of living.
Yes.
And yeah, this is what I did. And simple basic changes impacted so much that, I didn't have to complicate it. The best part about Ayurveda, it is so uncomplicated.
Yes.
Whereas modern science is like, supposed to have this. Is I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. The beauty of today's time is, we need to bridge the gap between modern science and Ayurveda and realize what do we need, what suits us the
Yes.
best. To me,
Yes.
this might suit, but doesn't mean it might suit you.
Yes.
So it's for us to
Absolutely.
understand and bridge that gap. So that's how it is. And yeah, small changes impacted in the maximum number of ways that I could never imagine.
Yes, and even when I started, I think one of the first few things were, mapping my meal times with the circadian rhythm. So I made sure that, I have my breakfast with the sun, and my largest meal should be lunch, and, ending the day with, before 6 or maybe 7 at max. And I saw you doing that even in Rishikesh, that you would take a very light dinner, and you would make sure that
I
even when
mean,
you're
it
going
used to be
out.
so funny. Everyone sitting at the breakfast table, and I looking at you, and you looking at me, and you're like mapping people's plates. Like, what wrong are they doing? They're learning yoga. What they're doing wrong here?
Yeah, I
It'd be
think
so
it
funny.
gets to you after a point. Once you understand that,
Yeah,
how these simple things can do so much harm to
exactly.
you if done the wrong way. For example, I always saw people having, curd and chai. Sometimes, like, they're having curd also, they're having chai also, and I was like, hmm.
Uh,
I'm
I mean,
like,
there's poha and there's fruit
yeah,
and
and
there's
there's,
bread
yeah.
and there is again curd next to it.
Yeah, this is what, I think, that is why I primarily wanted people to talk about Ayurveda on the podcast, because I know for a fact that if we have the best intention, even we want to, live the best life, the best healthy life, yet the information that is out there is not that reliable, and more people need to talk about Ayurveda and bring it in the forefront and really discuss. And these are some of the basic things, like any other chemical reaction, even in the body there is chemical reaction. So if you're consuming two things which are opposite in properties, it will definitely create problems. For example, I always remember my grandmother speaking about, not having, like, for not having fish. I was a vegetarian all my life, but she would tell me that, you should never have, certain foods with milk, like citrus fruits
Combinations.
and fish and green leafy vegetables and salt. And she would always tell me that you would get skin diseases if you know combine these foods. And
Exactly.
all my life I was very, very apprehensive about that. I was like, I'm not sure what you mean by saying that, but now I've realized that, she was
Exactly.
right all along. So apart from that, I'd like to ask you that, once you fixed your eating pattern and the time on which you eat, then what was the next step? How did you decide that what will go on your plate every day? Because, in
So
Indian
I can
families, sorry, in Indian
too
families,
complicated.
it becomes a little complicated because everybody is having, their own food, and here you are, you don't want to mix that, and you don't want to mix this other thing. However, I also feel very blessed to be in India, because, this science is so readily available, and there's so much that we are already following. It's just that we've lost the essence of it, and it takes very little effort for us to go back to our roots. So after that, what did you
Exactly.
do?
So for me, I was very blessed because my mom comes from a very traditional setup. We are from basically from Uttar Pradesh. So
Yeah.
anyone who is still connected to roots, who still has family, though we moved out from UP, like even before I was born, the food made at home was very simple and uncomplicated because my parents enjoyed it that way. Automatically, it was bound for me to continue it that way. So food wise, I was very blessed. But yes, it was on me how to go out and not getting distracted in the outside world when I'm going out and eating at restaurants and everything. Because today, even when I'm going to restaurants, I'm very particular about what I eat. Ayurveda is not just about being at home and taking care of it today. Tomorrow I'm going out and ruining it, giving it all for a toss. So I've
Yeah.
been blessed with combinations, and everyone who has their parents connected to the roots, eating the food that's made at home, they are very blessed. But for the
Yes.
ones who are staying by themselves, have to take care of themselves, their work life, obviously, they are, or cooking for yourself also gets a task. So keeping it very simple is the key. Don't complicate it with five different sort of, different sort of tastes. Keep the taste very simple. Have your
Yes.
dal rice, simple. Have your khichdis. Meals can be very simple. And the other
Yes.
thing is not mixing too much of dairy with grains.
Yeah.
Basic things. Don't mix dairy with grains. Don't mix fruits, which I've already told, with your grains. And again, don't mix too many, like I said, taste. Like if there's bitter, you can't mix too much of sour with it.
Yeah.
Keep it very relaxed. So having uncomplicated food, uncomplicated meals is the key if you don't have anyone around with you to cook for you. Otherwise, always go back, recall your childhood memories, what you ate, because
Yeah.
that's the main key. I mean, dal rice, I mean, everyone from every culture has it. It's a very humble meal. Apart
Yes.
from that, call up your grandmother and find out what she used to eat. A lot of people don't eat pickle. I enjoy eating pickle.
Oh,
I mean,
I
vitamin
love it.
B12. No better way of getting a vitamin B12 than
Absolutely.
munching on your pickle that you have with the dal rice. So again,
Yes.
when you're having pickle with the dal rice, it's a blessing. If you're sitting and having it as a snack with your tea, just licking it, it gets for another way. You just gonna get acidity and you're gonna have another sickness on. So it's
Yes.
better to just uncomplicate your meals, stick to simple meals that's made at your home while growing up. Eat what is available around, local, seasonal, and fresh. It's very important to have fresh food. I mean, I don't connect to having the food made a night before or a day before. There's certain set of
Yes.
food groups that is supposed to have traditionally in that way, then have it. But that it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense having dal made 2 days ago and today you're again heating it up and having it. It's just gonna do more bad than you. So
Good.
having fresh food is
Absolutely.
the key. So that's how
Absolutely.
it is. Uncomplications.
I think Ayurveda is the science which tells you, that the pranic value of every food deteriorates if you prolong its consumption. And in modern science, we usually see that, we look at the nutrition profile of the food, but we never consider what happens to the nutrition profile
Exactly.
once it is processed, and after the processing, for how
Exactly.
long it has been kept, and, in the open, or even if it is cooked and kept. But Ayurveda tells you that the pranic value of the food deteriorates and it actually
Exactly.
turns tamasic. So if you have tamasic food, it will, not give you the right kind of qualities that you
The right
want.
reason.
It will
In
make you
fact, it's going
lazy.
to affect your digestion.
Yes, it
That's
is
the reason a lot of people have healthy food and still suffer from digestion because they're not having fresh and local food. I
exactly.
mean, if I'm staying here today down in South, I'm going to appreciate South Indian food and I'm going to have it because the weather, my body, and everything is going to support me with that. That
Yes,
doesn't mean I have puri choles and wake up. It's healthy. It supports towards the northern region
yes,
because the weather, the water, and the climate is in such a way. So considering the nature along with the food is the key of healthy being. That's how it
absolutely.
sums down.
And also, I love the fact that you mentioned that, we should not concentrate so much on the disease aspect, because I've realized, even in my personal journey, sometimes, you tend to get overboard and you get extremely cautious about your disease, and every decision that you're making, every bite that you're taking, you're constantly thinking about the disease. And that's when, your mind comes into play, that if you're constantly giving yourself the reason that I will not do it because I am sick, you're constantly affirming yourself that I'm sick. And definitely, even if you have the most healthiest food and you follow all
Food.
the principles of Ayurveda, even then you will remain sick, because the reason for you to make those changes is because you're sick. So unless you change the narrative, so for example, when I felt sick, I never told myself that, I'm going to make these changes in my life because, I'm not well. Instead, I told myself that, if I will be healthy, I will be able to achieve best of my goals in shorter period of time, because my productivity will increase. And I told myself that for my spiritual journey as well, I need to have a good body, because that is the foundation of good living. So I actually never affirmed myself that I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, because This is one of the key mistakes that I think which everyone makes in their
I had
journey.
done that. I had done that mistake. That's why I think my
Yes,
healing process went very slow. And because
yes.
of that, even my sister was diagnosed with tuberculosis, who's no more because of that disease with us today.
Oh,
And even
okay.
my dad suffered from the same disease because I can control myself, but I can't control my family. They were like, okay, she's
Yeah,
not well, she's not well. So the energy just spread out everywhere. So that's how it works. So
yes,
first feeling that you're gonna heal yourself because it's never too late. You can always heal yourself. Easier said
absolutely.
than done, but you need to put in energy to heal yourself.
And I think personally, I feel I in my own journey, I reflected and I realized that everything is here to teach you something. So even if you are not well right now, if you heal yourself, you will have that experience to help others. And I think that's what you are doing. That's what I am doing in my career. That I'm trying to help people, and so are you. With whatever experience and knowledge that we have gathered through our own healing experiences, we are sharing it with the world so that it becomes okay for people to understand that you can heal yourself, even if there are 10 people who are telling you that you will not be able to heal yourself.
Exactly.
It's not true. Believe me, it's not true, because
Exactly. For that matter, even doctor lets it on the healing energies. He gives you
yes,
2 days medication time. He will like come to me after 2 days. It's not the
yes,
medicines that's doing the job. It's your mental
yes.
status that's
Yes,
so that's
I
how it
I remember this one thing. I wrote an email to my doctor because one of his statements really stick by me. And what that was, I asked him in a very, with a very sad face, because I knew that so many doctors have already told me that, you have to, you should let go of your idea of pursuing college, from Pune, and you should try and stay at home and really take care of your health and everything. And I asked my doctor that, is have you ever heard anyone getting healed from this autoimmune disorder which I have been diagnosed with? And he didn't say no to me. He said God has the power, right?
exactly.
And I think this is one of the statements that I really hold on to whenever I felt hopeless throughout my journey. That and God created all of us, so our body naturally is blessed with healing abilities. And that is something which we have to remember, that anything outside, even the food, even the Ayurvedic principles, are will work only when our natural ability of the body to heal is getting awakened. So we just need to make sure that we are supporting the healing process, and we're not creating problems. It's not Ayurveda which is going to heal you, it is your own body which is going to heal you. Ayurveda will support that journey of healing.
Just like your modern science.
Yes, just like in modern science. So it's a very collaborative process here. When we talk about modern science and Ayurveda, we do not mean to tell you that
That
you have to
just do
leave
with
your
Ayurveda.
medicines. Yeah, you have to take your medicines. You have,
Combination of both.
yeah, combination of both will actually fasten your journey, and you will soon be very healthy. All right.
Exactly. Ayurveda is going to help in the union of body, mind, and soul.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
modern science is going to give you practical approach towards this healing. The
Yes.
medicines, because you need Ayurveda. When I say Ayurveda, people think Ayurveda is only about some jadi booty, some children. No. There's
Yeah.
Ayurveda starts, like I said, it starts from the simple process of the way you wake up to curing major diseases.
Yes.
So it's about you having all these medicines and getting the energy in your body in the most healthy way to absorb these medicines in your body and heal fast. So
Yes.
Ayurveda comes into the picture there. So that we should always combine and build a bridge between both the sciences, because both the sciences are very beautiful in their own different ways.
Yes.
But
And
just
I
going
think
on one science and following in today's time doesn't make sense.
it
We need
doesn't
to
make sense.
incorporate.
And both the sciences are gifts of God. I feel that
Exactly.
Ayurveda mein to we naturally believe that it has descended from God, and that is why it is Ayurveda, and it is part of Ved also. So but however, everything that has been given to us is a gift of God. So equally as important as Ayurveda is, modern science is as important. It is just that we have to know how to
Know
bridge the,
when and how to use it.
when
That's
and
it.
how to use it, absolutely. So apart from that, I would like to ask you that, when you talk about exercise, so I see a lot of people going for calorie marks, that I burned so many calories, and I had a
I
pizza
totally
last
feel that.
night, and today I worked out for 1 hour, and that pizza is gone out of my body. So what do you have to say
I'm
about
laughing
that?
because I used to be this once upon a time. on a time.
Okay.
That's why, because you go through all this, you realize all this is
Yeah.
just not making sense. Because
Yeah.
as a teen, you end up doing a lot of things to
Yes.
reduce weight. Because I used to be 80 kgs and I was so underconfident, a timid, shy girl who would just be scared to say hello also because she was not confident about the way she talks and
Yes.
looks. But yoga classes somewhere became a boon for me because another thing about healing, once you heal, you always become the better version of yourself,
Absolutely.
physically, emotionally, mentally, from every aspect. So that has
I
happened with me.
completely agree.
Weight loss industry is getting too complicated. People are, judging their value on weighing scale. People have forgot what inches mean. People have forgot what good digestion means. People have forgot what feeling good means because weight loss has a lot to do with the overall body and not just the weighing scale.
Absolutely.
In 21 days fitness program, there was one of my client who put on 2 kgs. She put on 2 kgs. But the irony is her waist size has gone to 28 from 32.
Wow.
That's because, on weighing scale, you might weigh anything. It's not the way you judge your weight. It's about your inches because at the end, you need to look toned, you need to look healthy, you need to feel good.
Yes.
And she's so happy because her body's toned up. She's able to wear what she wants. She's able to feel how she wants. And with a healthy weight loss, the another sign of a healthy weight loss comes into the picture when you realize the weight loss is not affecting your mood and your relationships in life.
Completely
What
agree.
happens is in the process of weight loss, we starve ourselves, we overwork out, we exercise,
Yes.
and we don't have a control of our own emotions of what we're saying, how we feeling, weak digestion. You're getting up in the morning and having bullet coffee. You're just living on sprouts. Again, see, sprout is very healthy, but again, people are misusing it and making it unhealthy.
Yes.
You're just having sprouts and you're being there all day, and after that, again, you're having bullet coffee to get energy. You need energy. Have the healthy food and reduce weight. Fasting is another thing. Skipping 2 meals and having 1 meal. I mean, I don't connect to all these things. I mean, how sustainable are these things?
Yeah. I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought the topic of fasting because I've realized that, intermittent fasting, as much of a boon that it is, but it has now become a fad diet because,
It's
everybody is,
become fad. Everyone is doing it.
yes, everybody is doing it and everybody is trying to fit themselves into the 16 is to 8 box that,
And
I
the
have to fast
sad
for
part
16
is,
hours.
yes, the sad part is all this is going to cause inflammation. And the major
Yes,
reason of diseases is inflammation. And
inflammation.
because of such fasting and weight loss, people are going to, move towards the other edge of disease. I mean, then you're going to awaken your weaknesses. I realized, like, I don't know since when I had tuberculosis, but I realized this after I got into weird diets of skipping my meals, overworking out. And suddenly I fell ill. And later I realized what has happened. I've gone to doctors, no fever, nothing. Suddenly I get to know my weakness of my lungs has come up. So the weak
Yes,
system of your body suddenly gets inflamed in such a way
inflamed.
there's a new disease popping up. So for me, it was
Absolutely,
tuberculosis. So many
absolutely
people get
agreed.
into disease because of that. So
I
yeah,
completely relate because I remember that, of course, the body is going through, it is in the process of manifesting, but these, the wrong things that we do with our body in terms of our diet and our lifestyle, the sleeping pattern, it just triggers and, it helps the body to manifest the disease very, very quickly. And that is what happened. I
it
remember
doesn't
that.
take more than 3 months.
Yes, it doesn't take more than 3 months. So before I was diagnosed with lupus, I was actually trying to lose weight and I was 96 kg. So I was desperately trying to lose weight because I wanted to go back to home. And I was extremely ashamed because I knew that I will meet my relatives and, I was not ready to face them with, 96 kgs. On that note, I personally wanted to speak about this thing, your workout. So a lot of people do a lot of, high intensity workouts and they want to lose weight, so they, run on treadmill for long hours. So what do you have to speak about, how does our body go through imbalances because of rigorous workout?
The basic thing where people go wrong is pushing themselves. There are two set of people who are very lazy working. They don't work out. There are other set of people who overwork out. Finding the balance is very difficult. So what happens is, people need to understand it's very simple. You have the energy to work out, work out. But again, realize whether it is your laziness or it is indeed you're getting too dehydrated, you're feeling too energyless to work out. When it comes to exercise, one must realize the limit. 1 hour to 45 minutes to 1 hour is the best. I mean, no matter how overweight you are, no matter how underweight you are, no matter what your goal is, weight gain, weight loss, anything, 1 hour of physical alignment of working out towards anything is more than enough. It all comes down to what you're doing throughout the day versus working out for that 1 hour. If you have
Yes.
worked out for 2 hours on the treadmill, you've been running for 2 hours, and the remaining 23 hours, 22 hours, you're just lying on the bed doing nothing, it makes no sense.
Yes.
Work out for an hour, come back, have a very active lifestyle, move around, slowly slow your body down as per the nature rhythm. When the sun is setting down, automatically, if you're having another way to know whether your body is working fine when it comes to workout and everything is you're feeling active at your working hours. The same, like for example, if I work out at 6 o'clock every morning, I feel very active and I need my workout at that particular time. I can't do that in the 7 in the evening. So another reason that you'll realize that you're not overworking out yourself is having a particular working out slot, just like you have a eating timing
Eating slot.
slots,
Yeah.
like your meal map. Exactly. That's how your workout time should also be. And don't just get into cardio. Cardio is not alone going to help you. Just like, excluding carbs from your diet is going to help you reduce weight. This is the same thing as with weight loss in exercises. It's not only about cardio. It's a mix of all sort of exercises, which is flexibility, strengthening, cardio, and actually even resting is as important as, working out and exercising.
Yes.
And obviously, I'm going to talk about yoga because that's what we both believe and preach on. And nothing more beautiful and nothing more relaxing than yoga because, it not just tones your body, it also tones your mind and soul. So I
Yes.
always tell my clients, who have done gymming and they've come to me now, I'll be like, the best alignment of exercise comes in the form of yoga because you're not just working your mind, your body, you're also connecting to your soul. Even the way you're sitting is going to tone your back.
Yes.
I mean, these people have been working out in the gym for 4, 5 years, but there's no alignment. So basic thing is alignment. So exercise is happening even when I'm sitting and talking to you with my shoulders rolled up and sitting and talking to you. Is that's
Yes.
how it is. All this needs to sum down. All this needs to sum down, and that's how a good workout session happens. Overworking out is always wrong.
Yes, and I would like to add to that that even when we in Ayurved we say that any workout should be done only when you're sweating on your forehead. So to
Yeah.
check if the workout you're not over exercising or under exercising, the idea is to make sure that you're not profusely sweating because if you do that, you will not have enough energy for the rest of the day and you will feel lazy and you would not want to work because naturally each one of us in the beginning of the day have some amount of battery life to our body, right? And how much amount of battery life you invest in workout, you can invest either 70% of it and you can go about the day with the 30% of the battery, but it is not going to help you because it will reduce your productivity, it will affect your relationships, it will affect your work life. So the idea is to not overwork out, but also another point which one should make sure to keep in mind when we are talking about workout is that if you over exercise, it is going to increase your vat dosh in the body. So what it does is, if the vat dosh is disturbed, it is one of the nasty doshas to get disturbed. So if that gets disturbed, it will create anxiety, it will create restlessness in your body, and that is what you don't want to do. So, my next question is that how can one know that there is a need for lifestyle changes? What are some of the signs of, imbalances in the body so that, one can self-diagnose and see that, okay, these are some of the things which are wrong, and now what is it that I have to do?
The basic thing it comes down to digestion. If your digestion is wrong, that means you really need to go and correct on yourself. You need to work on your lifestyle. And how do you know whether digestion is right or wrong? Whether you're feeling gassy after eating any food. If you're feeling gassy after eating any food, that means your digestion is wrong. Very simple for anyone who doesn't understand much. If
Yes.
you're feeling bloated, again, you can't feel bloated after every meal. That's very abnormal. Very rarely, obviously, we all tend to get bloated, but not every day, not after every meal. This is the other thing. Third thing, always burping. If you
Yeah.
burp too often after your food, another sign that your body is not doing fine and you need to go back and correct. Right now, probably you're not at the other end of the scale, but you will go if you don't take care right now.
Yes.
Basic thing is digestion. If you don't have a good digestion, that's the cause of major inflammations and that's the cause of major diseases coming down the line. Lifestyle diseases happen because of digestion. In fact, even your mind, the way you feel, again has a lot to do with digestion. The anxiety, depression, everything comes down to digestion. When you're not feeling well, when you're, for example, one small example is when you're sad about something, the first thing that you do is skip your meal because the
Mm.
digestive system is not going to work. Automatically, your body is asking you to do that. So, digestion is the main thing.
All right. So how do we go about improving? What are some of the things or some of the lifestyle changes that we can bring in order to improve our digestion?
So the basic thing that we already spoke about is, knowing what to eat. For example, basic combinations, three combinations that we spoke about is, not mixing dairy with the grains. The second one is, not mixing fruits with every meal of yours. Have fruits as a mid meal. Have fruit like a fruit and not like a meal. That's where people
Yes.
go wrong. They replace it as a meal. Have it as a snack. It is supposed to be a fruit. Have it as a snack, as a mid meal. And the third thing, not having water. I mean, people have a lot of water with their meals. Solid
Yes.
and liquids are two separate things. Always keep these two things aside. I mean, buttermilk is healthy, but having buttermilk, I mean, a lot of culture supports having buttermilk with the food, with the main grain. But yes, it's good for digestion, but that doesn't mean you gulp it right with the food.
Yes.
Give it some 10 to 15 minutes time or 20 minutes for that matter, and have it only if you need it. Otherwise, keep it as another snack, as a snack drink, as an energized drink for later. So there are many things. First of all, these three combinations that people need to keep in mind. Apart from that, having the same meal timing. Whatever you're eating, have a particular meal time. Apart from that, having water as well, having warm waters, especially CCFT, the Ayurveda practitioners that preach about. I mean, it's
Yes.
very good for digestion. Like 40 minutes after your, especially after your lunch, is a brilliant drink.
Yes.
It's something that I swear by till today. And apart from that, simple things, like Dadi Ma ke nuske. Why Dadi Ma ke nuske? Because, our grandparents were very rich in the knowledge of Ayurveda. It was a
Absolutely.
science, it was a gift that was given to them. Like for today, for example, today we talk about Dolo. We know today when we're not well, we can have Dolo, just like our generation knows about Dolo. Our grandparents knew about these nuskes, which got inspired from Ayurveda. And that's why,
Absolutely.
like you had asked me about, Ayurveda not just being ghar ke nuske.
Yeah.
Ayurveda is much more than that. So
Yeah.
it all comes down to this. And apart from that, having fennel seeds, like our Dadima says, have fennel seeds after your meals.
Post lunch.
Aids
Yeah.
post lunch or post dinner, that aids
Yeah.
digestion. These
Yeah.
are the simple things. And yeah, start your day with a good cup of water rather than going towards tea or coffee. So to
Yes.
simplify it, it's very simple. Wake up, have a good cup of water. It could be plain water, it could be hot water. And after that, don't have any, bullet coffee, tea. First of all, having empty stomach tea and coffee is the major culprit of acidity, bad
Absolutely.
digestion. Exactly. After that, you're going to have your regular meals, homemade fresh breakfast or your nuts, whatever it is, and then carry on your day. A lot of things go wrong when we are having something like tea or coffee in the morning as the first thing instead of having water. These are
Yes.
the basic things that one needs to do for digestion. And always, one can always go and see how the body is reacting after eating a particular food.
Hmm.
So that's how it is, keeping it uncomplicated.
That is what I always mention, that you should have a food journal when you're beginning your journey into Ayurveda, because that will help you to understand that what food works for you and what doesn't. And apart from that, I think few of the things that one needs to keep in mind is, as she spoke about, not having too much of liquid along with solid food. However, your body is very intelligent. Your body gives you the signals about what is actually needed in that moment. So you take a call according to your body's need. However, your body should not be agitated. For example, if there's a strong urge for you to drink water in between your meal, that means
Then have
either your meal is too dry or it is too spicy. So right now you can have water, but now next time you have to make sure that your food is not that spicy and it is not extremely dry, right? And along with that, you have to always make sure that, whenever I always say this to people, and it is one of my favorite things to say, that please drink your food and eat your water. And
well,
this is what I genuinely mean, that you have to literally eat your water. You have to make sure that you are sipping water, you're not gulping it down, because otherwise it is going to
exactly.
wash away all the enzymes and all the juices that your stomach has, and you will naturally feel bloated, and it is going to vitiate your digestive fire, which is what we don't want. So as we
Exactly.
discussed, that digestive fire is key to health in Ayurveda. So these are some of the things that we want to take care.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
And
joke that I crack in 21 Days Fitness program related to gulping water the first thing in the morning. There was a client of mine, who would wake up and she would just gulp water because it's healthy. Yes, water having empty stomach is healthy. But I was like, why are you creating a tsunami in your system? You're having
yeah.
2 liters of water, the first thing, and gulping it. Literally, there's a
Yeah.
tsunami. You're not helping the Agni come up. In
Come
fact,
up.
you're pacifying. Yeah, I mean, you're letting the digestion go wrong. So have
Yes.
sip by sip, like you said. Take it slow. Don't that having 3 liters of water doesn't mean you have it at once. It means how you're playing around with it, with your herbal teas, with your food. with
Yes.
your, cooling down your system throughout the day. In fact, the best time to have a lot of water is when you're in the afternoons because the
Yes.
fire is too on the higher end versus at night.
Yes.
So there may be things like that.
Absolutely. And apart from that, few things that you can always take care of is that I always say that you don't have to know your Prakriti in order to make the right choices. You need to know your Vikruti. So today you decide and see that what is it that your body is going through. Is your body feeling extremely bloated, extremely gassy, or you're feeling acidic? So whatever that you feel today, on that basis you're going to make the decision. So for example, if today you're feeling acidic, you will take more pacifying pitta pacifying foods, and you will include more fruits, include more solid foods, right, and have less of spicy food. For or on other days when you're feeling extremely gassy, you will make sure that you have good amount of fat, and you're not having popcorn, and you're not having rice crackers and all of those things which can further dry out your body. So these are some of the things that you need to make sure that on the day to day basis you need to build awareness. There is no one prescription that fits all. For example, I am a person who likes to have two major meals in a day because I am a kapha person. My agni is generally very very slow, right? But for example, if I tell my father to have two meals a day, he will get irritated because he's a pitta person and
Okay.
he needs food in proper intervals, otherwise his stomach starts eating itself because of so much of acid which is getting produced, right? So there's no one prescription that fits all. It's how much self awareness you build through your body. And I think it's such a beautiful journey because there's so many things that you realize about yourself. You enter ayurveda just for food, and you end up into the peaks of spirituality, because that is how the journey is. It eventually leads you to a higher goal in life. So I think these are few of the things which I wanted to add. And before ending the podcast, I'd like to ask Swati that what are your key learnings, if there are four things that you want to tell to people about their lifestyle changes, and what are some of the things that they should keep in mind, because generally this journey is a little slow and tough when you're making
Confusing
lifestyle
as well.
changes. Yes, it is not going to happen overnight, but what are some of the key takeaways that you can take from this podcast?
The main thing that everyone should remember is, what you eat is important, but how and when are you eating is more important. I mean, having a proper meal time, we have spoken about it enough during this podcast because, we want to emphasize. I mean, one is eating healthy, but when are you eating? Having a routine, having a schedule for yourself is a gift for you. Routine is the main key. Rituals and routines, the trending things on Instagram that everyone is posting, rituals and routine is the first thing. The second thing is, always go back to your traditional way of eating. Eat the way you have grown up. I mean, if you have had ghee, have ghee. That doesn't mean just because Instagram post has come out and told ghee is unhealthy, that doesn't mean it is unhealthy. If you have had it is healthy for you. Always go back to your roots and connect back to your food and follow that. What suits you best might not suit someone else. And third thing, always eat something which is very local, which is very fresh. Just because mangoes are available towards the south, have it. Don't go from north and get it and munch on it and make that
Yes.
as a ritual.
Yes.
Eat regional, eat seasonal, eat fresh. That's a major thing. And yeah, enjoy your food, but with feeling, without getting distracted. Give yourself that 3 4 minutes of your time to just sit and enjoy your meal, not getting distracted by phone, because mindful eating is the major cause of lack of mindful eating is the major cause of a lot of diseases today. I mean, people are eating healthy, but they're not mindful. So it all
Yes.
comes down to simple, basic things. Keep it very simple, uncomplicated, and I'm sure Ayurveda is going to happen to you very beautiful. These are the basics of Ayurveda.
Yes, and with that mindful eating, I'd like to just end the podcast by saying that whatever emotions with which you eat the food, it naturally gets transferred into the food. For example, if you're in a restaurant and you are a little impatient about your order, and you just shouted at the waiter, and the waiter then went inside and told the chef, and the chef got irritated because he had so much of orders, and then he's cooking the food with that mindset, right? He's angry and he's cooking the food, so the naturally the food that comes to you, even if you order a salad at a restaurant, it is not going to do good to you. So it's important that before you start your meal, you're taking time to pray and thank the food and the creator and everybody who was involved in that process to get this plate of food to you. I think that really helps. So there are certain situations when we cannot choose the best of the options to eat, right? But in that case we still have something in our hands, and that is the way we consume our food, no matter what it is. Even
Exactly.
if it is, even if it is, refined flour at some point which you have to eat, give it the
Exactly.
equal reverence that you would give to anything else, right? Because
Exactly. So
at the
feeling
end
that
of the
gratitude.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it is nourishing your body. It is becoming a part of your body. And I think that is very, very, very important. So, thank you so much, Swati. It was such a lovely podcast. I'm sure that this is going to add so much value to people. And, I'm so lucky that I met you in Rishikesh. And because of
So that's
that,
why,
my
yes,
audience got to hear your journey, and I'm sure that they will share so much love on you and on this podcast. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you.